Hi, this is Kenneth Jayasuriya from Porsche Center Calgary. I'm going to be talking about the classic car maintenance, service, and restoration that we do here. Today, I guess we have a 1987 Porsche 911 Carrera 3.2. This one here has a 3.2 liter flat six, which is air-cooled, of course. And the transmission that we have with it that's off right now is a G50, which is kind of particular for this year and the next couple after. I guess the main reason why we want to see more of these classics come into the dealer is that the fact that they come in for maintenance, but at the same time too, we're able to kind of pinpoint and pick up any of the issues that maybe some independents or individuals might not see. This one here came in for a oil service, but at the same time too, we were able to find a very severe fuel line leak that's actually down in between the intake and actually the fan shroud. It's just right down in there, and I wouldn't say it's leaking at this very point, but at the same time too, the whole hose is cracked and it's ready to blow. So we found this kind of in the summertime, and that could have been a very costly issue and also a very unsafe vehicle down the road. We just want to see these cars kind of continue on and have the same kind of quality and build as they did from the day one. So we're here to kind of assess what was going on with it. We found that this fuel line was leaking. We dropped the engine out, and therefore now that it's out, it is a 1987, so we have a 30-some years of wear or tear or issues that kind of either were neglected or, since it was in the car, weren't handled. So therefore, we have the engine out. We're able to kind of go through things that either the car needed as for oil leaks, maintenance items, and as well just seeing the condition of the engine. Therefore, checking out certain components like cams, rockers, oil leaks, that kind of thing. We'll go anywhere from actually going down and actually doing a leak down test on this engine now that it's out, and then assessing kind of a baseline for the client, letting them know that if the engine's strong enough, can we just do certain aspects of it, or if it actually has we have to go through a full teardown, which is actually splitting the case and kind of refreshing the engine and go from there. But in this case, we're able to kind of give the client kind of, based on their budget and their what they want to do to the car, is kind of figure out what works best for them, and also what's best on hand. So in this case, the client was actually driving this car with this transmission as is, and the clutch fork and the actual rod itself as is, and they never quite noticed over time that it was actually wearing out and kind of failing at a slow rate. So they just got used to it over time, and in this case, such an actually big issue can actually be undetectable because you just get used to it over time. You get used to driving the car as is, and a lot of people chalk it up to it being a vintage car, or that's how it is. But here we're able to kind of identify based on what we've learned and our, what we have for reference, and also Porsche is our background and what we have. We're able to kind of identify that these things are actually failing. And so when this car came in for a simple oil change, we're able to actually realize right away when we actually pressed in that clutch and disengaged and engaged it that something wasn't going right. With the 3.2, there are things that are issues, but at the same time, it's a very stout engine. So while the engine is out, we're able to kind of find similar leaks near the oil cooler that we know how to address those and fix those. While the transmission and clutch and flywheel were off, we're able to actually find an oil leak that was hidden back here, a rear main seal. As you can see right here, that it looks completely dry at the lower portion of it, but at the same time too, you can see how much oil was built up, and also how much material and whatnot was building up in behind the actual flywheel. In this case, we'll let the client know based on what we find with the leak down, what we find out with the actual rubber components, anything that we see along the way. Actually, yeah, since rubber components, this is 30-plus-year-old vehicle, there are certain things that actually wear and tear on these things, and you could actually see the cracking right in here, and we'll find that on a lot of different parts on the car. You can see it in here as well too. You'll find that on a lot of parts in the car. So we'll actually assess those things along the way. We'll see whether or not we should be replacing and repairing and kind of going from there. So like I said, I mean, this thing was here for an oil service. You know, they weren't used to some of the major maintenance items on it, but at the same time too, we had the client come in while the engine and transmission were out and complete, and kind of went through everything together, because as much as we want to make sure this car is running right and serviced right, we want to actually have the client involved and show them what's going on with it, so you can see firsthand what your engine looks like, you know, opposed to the kind of the mail slot that you see when you actually open up that deck lid. So we'll kind of go through every process of it, what we find that's best for it, and kind of let you know what works in our opinion, and we'll work with you on what you know, is best for your budget and what you can do for that time for us. So we hope that we can help you out in any kind of service that you need. We can handle anything, you know, classic. As you know, we do all the modern stuff, but at the same time too, any classic need that you need it, we could definitely handle that for you, and please let us know. And once again, this is Kenneth Jaisurya from Porsche Center Calgary.